Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Let's get on team. Alrighty. Looks like AMC is off to a great start. Here we go. Still only 500 shares is what I have in AMC. Good morning, good morning. Let's see what we got going on here. Breaking 52. It's actually still indicating signs of an uptrend. Let's see. Go. There we go. PTO in with a nice little pullback down 1.4%. Makes sense, right? Finally, some breathing room for PTON. All right, testing support at EMA. Watch for a pullback down to the SMA line. Watch for a potential pullback down to the SMA line. Looks like it validated the EMA as a support. There we go. Holding strong. Approaching previous highs. Ricky, is it possible for you to volume your voice up, please? Yeah, of course. Sorry about that. Might as well just tell me and just reword that, Tommy, and just say, hey, Ricky, say it with your chest, little guy. Just kidding. Definitely. So hopefully you can hear me a little bit more clear now. Alrighty. Here we go. Alright, nice little pullback. I like that. This is what I actually wanted to see because I didn't have many shares of AMC. So I'm happy that it's pulling back. I'm happy that I'm able to buy a couple shares at these oversold levels. There we go. Nice pullback. Testing SMA support just like we said. Makes sense. We'll see if we validate this as a support level. So baby, come with me. Alrighty. Are you still holding Twitter? I am. I'm still holding the same shares that I was before, right? The same 10%. So not much, but I have some skin in the game. we go. Nice pullback. Love to see it. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Here we go. Testing support level. Let's see if we can break above EMA. There we go. Testing support. So now I've been able to double my position in AMC as it's been pulling on back, which is actually pretty cool to see. There it goes, still pulling back, 2%. From 4% on the day to 2%, so we've pulled back 2% on the day. Not too shabby. There it goes, testing $51 support level. There it goes, 51, broke below 50, 50.92. There we go. Keep it light, keep it tight. There it goes, potential support here. All right, let's see where we go. Looking pretty good. Tesla, why you go down? Where's Tesla at? 725. I mean, can we say that we're surprised that Tesla's pulling back? Definitely not, right? I think that we could all agree that Tesla was overbought. It was due for a pullback on the 4-hour time frame, and it was already beginning to trade below last week, below EMA, right? So this pullback does not come as a surprise by any means. If anything, I think a lot of us were ready to short Tesla at those overbought levels. So, yeah, I'm excited to follow up with it and to see where that goes. There we go. We got Apple testing potential support level. We talked about this one yesterday in our Sunday stock talk. Like, does my microphone sound funny? Let me move this. Sorry about that. Let me know if this sounds any better. Maybe it sounds a little bit more clear. Let me know. But yeah, Apple's about to release, their new iPhone. They tend to even pull back right before those kind of releases as well. You can look at it year over year, almost every single time around like September, October. When the release is announced, there tends to be a little bit of a pullback. I think due to the anticipation But Apple overall, it's so bullish. It's so consistent. Could it experience a pullback? Of course, I think it would be amazing to see it pull back to 135. I'm sure a lot of us would agree that we'd love to buy Apple at around the SMA line to get it for a little bit of a better deal and then ride it for the overall recovery. But we'll see if that opportunity actually ends up presenting itself. But yeah, so we'll see where we go from there. Let's see. Still got AMC getting rejected. But the fan is loud today. I apologize. Let me see. Maybe I can close out. I don't think it's going to do much, but I'll close out Discord. I don't have anything else open. I have to have YouTube open, I have to have OBS open, and I have to have Webull open. So we'll see if that does anything. But how many of you guys were expecting that little pullback on AMC, right? I feel like a lot of people get very excited when these pushes or these rallies happen right at market open. I only had 500 shares of AMC, right? So if anything, that's a very light position for me. So I was honestly, I'm very happy. I was hoping for a pullback because if AMC were to skyrocket and hit $55 or $60, you know, I would have had just less money behind that push. So now it pulled back a little bit, that it allows me, it motivates me, it encourages me to buy a little bit more at a better price, or even if it doesn't skyrocket, you know, even if it just returns to $52, I've made a decent return on that. But yeah, it looks like the NASDAQ market is now going from green on the day to red on the day. We talked about this one yesterday in our Sunday Stock Talk. NASDAQ market has been indicating signs of a peak and a little bit of a pullback. We're at the 4-hour EMA. A lot of you guys know what tends to happen. When we break below the EMA, we pull back a little bit, right? We sell off. And this is why maybe we're seeing a lot. It looks like the overall market is more potentially in the red than it is in the green, but no. Still looks like a lot is in the green. It's just a few that are a little bit in the red. But it looks like a lot of tech is in the red, right? I feel like that's what we can see right now. Tesla down to 720. That's actually pulled back quite a bit. 720 a share. From 740 to 720. Here we go. Trying to recover. Alrighty. All right. That's actually what I was just thinking, Nick. So this is a great question that Nick just asked. He's like, Ricky, would you consider taking a light position on Tesla at this price? And I want you to ask the question like, why? Why would I at 720, right? If we look at, well, first off, Tesla has been bullish, right? So that's attractive. Now it's pulling back a little bit. Yeah, you know, I could see it pull back to maybe $700 flat. But even if I buy like $5,000 worth of Tesla here, a 5% position size, right? Just in case if it continues to sell off, I can tolerate it, right? That's like if you traded with $1,000 and you go in with, you know, $50. You're like, that's just very light. It's a small amount when it comes down to skin in the game. And we're approaching a previous resistance level, which tends to be a potential support level. So we'll see. We'll see if 720 acts as a support. It wouldn't surprise me if on the 4-hour time frame, if NASDAQ begins to make lower lows and lower highs and begins to trade below EMA, I think that Tesla would head right back down to $700 a share. So would I consider buying a little bit of Tesla here? A very light amount because how bullish it's been. So I would buy a portion just in case it begins to indicate signs of a recovery that I can take part of that reversal. But not so much that if it continues to sell off, I become an emotional mess. Find that balance. Here we go. AMC, can you just break above? Just break above the EMA. Come on. Just break above the SMA, break above 5150. Come on. Keep it simple. Looks like it's actually getting rejected. Correct, it's the holding company for Frontier. It's like not the same, right? Like they say the UFC is publicly traded, but the UFC is not publicly traded. It's the holding company of UFC. It's just different. I don't view it to be the same, but yeah, I get it. It is to an extent, right? Their holding company is. Here we go. Yeah, so there's a couple of you guys that are asking for me to break something down. Just give me one. Maybe I could very quickly, but the MC is indicating signs of a reversal, so I just have to be careful that I'm not, let's see. It's looking good. 5150, just like we asked. AMC is like, look, Ricky, I'm here. What next? 5250. Come on, AMC. You got this. You got this. There we go. There we go. Directions in my favor. Slowly add more. Watch for the pullbacks. Alright, so hoodies oversold, ranking as far as moving averages, differentiate pre-market. No, I mean, so you have to, Ricky Roman, you have to look at the parameters of these moving averages, right? Just depending on the moving average that you use, right? If it's SMA, EMA, or just MA. It's based off of certain movement, and during the pre-market session, there's less volume. So you need to take that into consideration, so it tends to be more volatile. If there's a big buyer, because there's less buyers, it can have more of an influence. If there's a big seller, just due to less volume, it can have more of an influence, depending. And then in comparison to when the market opens, there's a heavy amount of volume, right? You always see that peak, and then it dies off a little bit. This happens very, very often, where there can be a shift of direction from when it was trading pre-market to what it does right when market opens. So that's always something super, super important to take into consideration. That just because it has a certain pattern or direction during the pre-market hour does not mean that it has to maintain that, because there tends to be a very big shift of overall volume and demand. And someone that might have had a big influence during the pre-market session due to low volatility or low volume will not have that same influence on that stock during normal trading hours. My goodness, look at that. AMC with that big pullback. Looks like Urban is trying to indicate signs of a reversal. It's testing that support level at $30 flat. I believe my entry is like 31, almost $32. So we're still testing that general support range. So we'll have to see where it goes from here. See if it actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. I know from based off of previous resistance levels, a very conservative resistance at $40. That's 24%. So I'm excited about that if it actually plays out that way. But it just has a little bit low volume. So that's something that we have to take into consideration. That, whoa, AMC with a nice recovery. But yeah, definitely take that into consideration that Urban does have a little bit lower volume as of right now. It's looking decent. It's not anything crazy that you're missing out on, right? It's not really indicating signs of an uptrend. It's consolidating for a potential to try to establish a potential support level, which I think is great, but it's not something that it's set in stone. We've talked about this. Is it Joannis? We've talked about SPCE. We talked about it yesterday as well. SPCE is very bearish ever since its peak at $50. It's trading at $25 a share, and it's not indicating any signs of a reversal on the 4-hour time frame. Joannis, I want you to do this for me. Look at it on the 4-hour time frame. Look at it on the 4-hour time frame and tell me, what does it need to do to be considered a stock that is now indicating signs of a recovery? Right? What is it? What price does it need to break above? What indicator would it need to break above for it to be something where you can revisit it and be like, hey, it's actually beginning to recover from $25 potentially back to $50? I want you to ask yourself that question. What does it need to do for it to qualify as a trade worth trading? Oh man. Here we go. Back at $1,000 on the day, which is pretty good because I was up 1,000 over here, but because I bought the dip, now I'm up 1,000 over here. So a lot more buying power. Oh, look at that resistance, pre-market resistance. Let's see if we can break above. Come on. Come on. Come on. How many of you guys get excited when the market pulls back? No? Not too many of you? Sheesh. Look at that. Come on, AMC. Don't pull back too hard. How many of you guys have been waiting for the market to pull back? Any of you guys? No one? I feel like if you're part of Learn Plan Profit and if you've been part of LPP for a while, I feel like that's something that like I've tried to instill in you guys, where it's like I don't feel like a lot of us get surprised when market pulls back anymore. I don't know. Has it changed your perspective now at all? Do you feel like you get a little bit more excited when the market does pull on back because you're like, you know, I'd love to buy the dip on something that is so bullish, right? Because if it's so bullish and that's its true direction, then I can buy the dip on it and then ride the recovery. I think it's just all about perspective, right? It's about understanding that pullbacks when you're first getting started might seem or feel like the enemy. You're just like, dang it, like this is horrible. I don't want this to happen. Why is the market against me? But now when you have a little bit of a better understanding that like pullbacks are part of the process. So instead of being surprised by them, how about we prepare for them, right? So when it comes down to position size, being able and encouraged to buy the dip and stuff like that, it's a healthy opportunity for those that understand that the market tends to be more bullish than it is bearish. I like that. So yeah, I wanted to quickly ask if that was something that you guys agreed with. I know I get very excited. You know, do I buy an aggressive amount of TQQQ, right? Where is it that I go from there? Look at that. We got SQQQ right now at 750. So I'm not looking too bad on SQQQ right now. I don't have a very heavy position size, but it's honestly not looking too bad. I have 3,000 shares of SQQQ. So I have about $22,000. I'm up 1% from when I purchased So I'm not up very much. But if we look at it on the 4-hour time frame, it's actually beginning to indicate signs of an uptrend. So is it going to get rejected at 770, at $8, right? These are all potential previous support levels, connect as new resistance, all that stuff, right? So as we see that the NASDAQ market slowly begins to pull back a little bit, this thing slowly begins to climb up, right? So it's good to understand where to put your money, where to shift it, all that good stuff. Here we go. AMC Trine. Literally, right, Nathaniel? I'm swing trading ADP. Can I get your take on it? Yeah. So I am trading AMC right now, but I'll do a quick breakdown. I'll give you my 2 cents. Okay, on the day it's looking bullish. Looks like that bull flag is building around $24. Okay, swing trading. I don't know why you would be doing that right now. That's very hopeful of you. I'm just telling you how it is, right? If I were to tell you, right, that hey, this thing tends to get rejected from it's making lower highs and lower lows. There's no other way to put it. You can literally see the descending resistance. I don't know what's happening there, but it's making lower highs and lower lows. It is literally indicating it is more bearish than it is bullish. It's not trading above EMA. It's not making higher highs above EMA. It's not above SMA. So looking at it, it's very hopeful of you for you to be entering this. I hope it's not with a heavy position. If you're in it with a very light position, then great. But the only reason I'm saying this is like, yeah, if it does begin to recover, then it would be amazing. But you hoping that it does, what makes this any different than where it was last week or the week before that or the week before that? Do you get what I mean? There's no reason. There's no indication of a recovery. So until then, I would either have a very light position size or not be in it at all. It's not indicating signs of a reversal. It's not indicating signs of higher highs, higher lows. And those are bad best practices. When you jump on in an aggressive amount and you have no form of either risk management or anything like that, please take your position size into consideration and please understand that the current direction is not in your favor. I hope it plays out in your favor. I really hope it does. But if it begins to pull on back, just know that it was very clear on the 4-hour time frame that it was making lower highs and lower lows, and it can easily continue to get rejected. Here we go. What's up, homeboy? All right. AMC's up 4% on the day. All right, brother.
Have a good safe flight.
Thank you. Hopefully I make this one. Okay. I'm going to sell a portion here. I'm just going to keep it light. It's a little bit more on the overbought side, so I have to take that into consideration. We are now trading above $52 a share. Again, I wouldn't encourage this for all of you guys, but I'm going to sell. That pulled back so hard. So quick. Dude, come on. Come on, AMC. Why you got to do it like that? What's going on? Come on. Just wanted to keep it a little light. So Swing Kroger. We talked about that one, right? That was one of the stocks that I talked about on Friday. It's up 1% on the day. Has it established a support level? 4-hour time frame, testing potential support. We'll see. It can easily try to push up. It can still get rejected by EMA and then drop right again, right? Again, I'm just being devil's advocate with the idea that don't just always think that it has to recover. Don't always think that mindset. I would rather someone be more critical with themselves and be like, no, I need to be more selective, than someone to be more willing and open. Because we all know, more often than not, it does get rejected. More often than not, it does not go according to our plan. So why are you so hopeful? Trust me, I wanted to. I'd love to be able to buy the dip and it recover. But I know that from my experience, every time that I buy the dip, more often than not, it does not go according to plan. I don't have that kind of good luck in the market. And that's good because it's encouraged me and empowered me to be more critical, to be more selective, to watch my position size, right? So if you want to buy the dip, again, we've talked about it, a very light position size just to have some skin in the game, but you have to be good at managing risk and managing your position size. If you suck at managing risk and you suck at managing position size, then you're really putting yourself up, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? Because if things do go south, you should not be buying the dip if you suck at risk management. It's a tough pill to swallow, I get it, but it's true. We all know this. If you suck at risk management, if you never cut losses, if you bag hold, you should not be someone that's buying the dip. You should be more conservative and really allow that opportunity to present itself. Save your trades. Don't put yourself in a position to fail if you know you're going to fail. I like that, Kyle. It happens, and it happens to, dude, it literally happens to all of us. I've done that as well. How many of you guys? So Kyle just shared with us. He's like, boys, just please listen to this man. Been out of the game since March because I've been stuck in a position that I thought it had to recover, and then I didn't cut losses. I was on a big green streak. That's the worst, right? When you come, and I've said this so many times, where you come from a very consistent, everything is great, right? You have green day after green day after green day. And let me just share this story. You have green day after green day after green day. We've all shared something like this. If it's like 1 or 2 weeks of just having green trades, you're like, the market is in my hands. I am the master. And then one trade does not go according to plan, but because you've had such a consistent track record, you confidently and overconfidently take a position. You aggressively buy the dip, and then guess what? It begins to sell off. Things go south, and you're like, what the heck is this? It's like you were in a privileged position or a privileged seat, and all of a sudden you were reminded that the stock market doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care what you did last week. It doesn't care what you did last month. It doesn't care what you did last year. Every new trade presents its new challenges. Every new trade should be treated as a new opportunity with new forms of risk every single time, because it does not matter how well you did on your last trade. Every opportunity is disconnected, right? Yeah, there's core principles or criteria that you want every trade to meet, but every trade will always be different, and it will treat you and challenge you regardless of who you are. That is so, so important to understand. And it is when you are most confident that it catches you off guard. And I'm so happy that you shared that, Kyle. First off, I know that's probably not easy to share, right? Coming from a green streak and then ending, with a really bad trade. But, that's the beautiful part about just getting started, is that hopefully your position size right now is something that big picture you can tolerate, where later down the road, thankfully you're making, what I always try to think about is like when I was first getting started, thankfully I made those very poor mistakes very early on. Because if I would have made a very poor mistake when I, was trading with $100,000, it would be a big difference from when I'm trading with $5,000. And although it might seem like a big loss, right, when I'm trading with $5,000, trust me, it would be a much bigger loss, obviously, with a much larger dollar amount. So although it might suck and the dollar amount still stings, right, just always remind yourself it's better to make those mistakes now for your future self. And AMC just dropped. So very poor job on my part in locking in profits. I wanted to sell at $52. I got greedy, and it didn't. It did not. It did not hit 52, even just for a couple cents. I might end up regretting this. Look at that pullback. We broke below EMA. Let's see it. Alrighty, we got Urban down. Literally almost everything is in the red. I mean, if anything, like AMC is fortunately in the green. Look at that. We got SQQQ looking pretty decent. I'm going to buy a little bit more of SQQQ. Just going to buy 1,000 more shares. So nothing too shabby. Look at that pullback. It's pulling back hard. As it should. Ricky, learn your lesson next time. Lock in profits. Never be afraid to do so. Could have sold up here at $52. Even at $51.94. I don't know why I hesitated so much. But, yeah, I was too caught up in my little story. It's okay. We got PTON at 110. That's decent. We got Starbucks with a little pullback. Twitter with a huge pullback. Down 5%. That's huge. That's all the way, yeah, that's new lows for Twitter. Yep. Thankfully, I only have a $10,000 position on that bad boy. That would have been a rough one. Twitter is pulling back pretty hard. So that one's one that I'll have to follow up with to see what's going on a little bit more on the fundamental side to see what's causing it. Testing support here. Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see. Indexes are tanking. I made sure I locked in profit on the AMC Ricky. Well, happy to hear that, Taylor. Really am. I'm glad we at least talked about it. It was just myself that kind of hesitated. That's my fault, right? You guys saw that I was ready to sell. And this is where, when you try to nickel and dime an opportunity, you guys saw that I wanted to sell at 52. I set up a made up figure in my head of, hey, I want to sell at 52. It broke down or sold off to 51.94. So, but for 6 cents a share, I didn't lock in profits. And now if AMC crashes, I'm going to remind myself of this, of, hey, for 6 cents, I chose to not lock in profits, and that's why I'm down, right? So right now it's hard to say that because I'm still in the green, but it's a perfect reminder, right? I have to hold myself accountable. If I'm going to hold you guys accountable, I have to hold myself accountable with that idea of, I can't try to nickel and dime an opportunity. Yeah, of course, we all want to sell at the highest price point, but when we see that there's a potential change of direction at the end of the day, we can't hesitate to lock in profits, right? So which EMA and SMA do you have? I have moving average and EMA. I have mine right here. So EMA is 20, moving average is 200. I have my setup that I've shared with you guys before. Shopify, where's that at? Do we have good deals today? Not bad, 3%, nice pullback. I like this. I like this. Oh, look at that. Woo! Really nice pullback. Shopify doesn't normally do this. It hasn't done this in a while. So yeah, looks like the market's getting ready to pull back. Not, this is all good. It's all great that we're paying attention to different stocks. Be careful with your position size. And the only reason I'm saying this is because of the NASDAQ market. NASDAQ market looks like it's ready for a pullback. So if the NASDAQ market begins to sell off and it begins to pull back, just know that all these oversold and cheap stocks right now are going to get cheaper. When the major markets pull on back, you got to be prepared for that. So, yeah. There we go. All right, but I don't want to take too much of your guys' time at market open. Today's going to be a little difficult, and if you're trading AMC, that's a day trade, right? That's a little bit different. It's one of few stocks right now that's at least in the green. That and SQQQ, right? So you have to take that. You have to approach that a little bit different. It's an intraday opportunity. That's at least the way that I view it. What I want to share with you is we got to be very careful. I don't know if a lot of you guys would agree right now in the live chat. We got to be very careful with buying the dip. Right now would be a great time to start looking at every stock that you've ever wanted to buy but was very overbought. Because if the NASDAQ market and overall major markets are pulling back, that's great for all of you guys. Because if you're not already invested, you can create a watch list right now. And as they begin to slowly pull back, you can choose to take advantage of them whenever you see the time to be, right? Even if you buy a very small position or if you just hold back and set alerts for indication of a reversal, however it is that you want to approach it. We got Tesla now down to $710 a share, 708. Look at that. From 750, what was it? It was just last week, just on Friday. I thought it was at 760. Yeah, 760, right? 760, and today it's at sub 710. There is a lot of stocks that have sold off, and they can still continue to do so. Please stay prepared, not surprised. Look at that. AMC is actually crashing right now. Oh boy. We're about to go from green on the day to red on the day, and we have to manage our position size. All I can share with you is, if you can't accept the red days, you haven't earned the green days. That's the easiest way for me to be able to remind you that nothing in the stock market is deserved. You don't deserve anything. I don't care how long you've been trading. I don't care how long you've been waiting for an opportunity to present itself. You earn everything, right? You follow up with a stock that you see value in. You set effective alerts. If you choose to take advantage of it and then you lock in profits, you earn that. You took initiative. You stayed disciplined. You took accountability, and you made it happen. It doesn't matter if you make 50%, 10%, you earn that based off of your ability to be able to identify an opportunity, implement a proper entry, and exit. It is so, so important during these tough times when the market pulls back to see who still has a well-balanced mindset. Because it won't be everyone. So, a very simple reminder, a very simple question for you. How can you stay well balanced during a pullback? You manage your position size so you don't become an emotional mess. By not having so much money in the market, you can still stay calculated with your trade decisions, right? Rather than, holy moly, I bought Tesla at 760 a share. It's now pulling back to 700. It needs to recover. It needs to, right? No, it doesn't. It does not. It can crash and it can drop below 700. You need to be aware. You need to be aware of that nothing has to happen. Everything in this market is earned, not deserved. So, yeah, I was actually looking at Urban. And it looks like it pulled back a little bit, but it's in the green, which is actually pretty rare for a lot of the stocks right now. Overall markets are in the red. So I guess it's just a lot of the stocks that I'm paying attention to, because it's really just tech that is in the red. So let's look a little bit more into it of what is causing all these tech stocks to pull back. right? Because it's not all the stocks, but definitely a lot of tech. Yeah, and it's not a crazy amount. So let's stay well balanced, let's stay effective, and let's allow that opportunity to present itself. So I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. If not, then don't worry. It's a private video. But yeah, so there we go. We just went from green on the day to red on the day. Down 200 smackaroonies. We'll have to see where it goes. But I really do appreciate you guys' time. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me via Discord. Today should be exciting. I'm excited to follow up. And I like these challenging days because it reminds you that, again, you earn everything that happens to you. It's not deserved. Sometimes, of course, it's easier said than done. But just like we had very easy days last week, I'm excited for the challenging days this week. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you have any stock that you're paying attention to and you want me to break it down, feel free to share it in the main chat in Discord or in the group alerts. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.